Wow. Can you believe this is the 4th edition now of that book that we wrote way back when? There we were, just living in a little duplex in Stagline in Santa Cruz, California. We got invited to write.
Back in the 80s.
In 1981, we got invited to write this book by Rodale Press.
Wow.
And we did it. And next thing you knew, just like your sister predicted, kind of oddly, she said, "You're going to be on Merv Griffin." And by gum, there we were, February 2nd, 1983.
Wow.
On Merv Griffin. It
Gosh.
was interesting, a strange experience, wasn't it? So here we go, a trip down memory lane.
What was that, 40 years ago?
38. Well, we're still alive, still kicking.
From the Celebrity Theater in the heart of Hollywood, it's the Merv Griffin Show. With today's guests, Dana Hill, a discussion of natural health care for dogs with veterinarian Dr. Richard H. Pitcairn and Susan HUBBLE Pitcairn. Russian film director ANDREI KONCHALOVSKY. Comedian George Miller. The author of a book about Chinese medicine, Dr. Ted J. Kopchak. Singer Ronnie McDowell with Ward Lindsay and his orchestra. And now, here comes Merv.
We have been talking about holistic health for people. Holistic health is very big in America these days, but one area that usually gets neglected is health care for animals. And with us today is a nationally known veterinarian and his wife, and they've put together a book titled Dr. Pitcairn's Complete Guide to Natural Health for Dogs and Cats. Here is Dr. Richard Pitcairn and his wife, Susan HUBBLE Pitcairn. Welcome to the show. Glad to have you here. Susan? I've had my handful here today with Dr. Kopchak, Pitcairn, and Konchalovsky. Thank goodness for Hill and Miller, who were here a while ago.
You've been doing great.
Let me ask you, first of all, a personal question. I have 3 very large dogs, and it drives me crazy. I think all Americans do that. We lock in on a favorite, we think is their favorite dog food. You know, canned dog food or the mixed stuff. So you give it to them for the rest of their lives.
Mm-hmm.
But when you really stop and think of it, that's lousy, isn't it?
It's lousy.
It's terrible.
Well,
but how do you vary their diets?
I don't find any problem introducing variety to their diets if they but have the opportunity.
It's kind of like if you and I were to sit down and eat the same thing every day, something kind of like dried cereal every day, day after day.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be hard at all to introduce us to something good like fruits or vegetables or meats or...
Is commercial dog and cat food bad?
I don't recommend it. No, I hesitate to say it's bad in that sense of a comparison, but I don't think it can promote health in the same way that a natural diet can.
What's in it?
And it seems to me that it is set up to use byproducts from the human food industry. In other words, the leftovers. What can't be used for human consumption, what's not acceptable because it's spoiled or because it's from an animal that's diseased.
Basically, the laws are that the things that are in pet food are those that can be rejected for human consumption, and they don't really have to have any quality at all to them, basically.
So you could be doing a great disservice to your animal.
Very
Well,
much.
that's very much a point of our book, is that if you... I think the most important person in the life of the animal is the one that cares for them, as far as I'm talking about their health. And much more important than the veterinarian can be. And probably the basic foundation to good health is an adequate diet, a really good, wholesome preparation of food that hasn't had chemicals added, isn't adulterated.
Right.
And so we really emphasize this in our book, that we want to see people put their animal on a really good, wholesome diet. That they what we recommend is that they prepare it at home.
Give me some examples of controlling common problems that dogs and cats. What are the most common?
Well, probably a common one would be like diarrhea or vomiting or something like a cold, very similar.
Get to fleas.
Skin problems, fleas.
Get to fleas,
right.
will you?
All right, fleas.
That's the one
fleas.
everyone asks about.
We've had an outbreak here, I guess,
Yes,
because of
everywhere.
weather and stuff. Yeah.
That's a very difficult problem, and I see it as being increasingly difficult as years go by. And I think a couple of factors are, first of all, that the health of animals is not as great as it used to be. This is my opinion. I graduated in 1965, and comparing from that time to now, I think that animals are not as healthy, and therefore they have less resistance. Fleas generally will aggregate on and do well on an animal that doesn't have a good level of health.
Flea collars help?
Not very much.
No. Well, out here in California, they always say put eucalyptus nuts or leaves in their bed, and you'll see the fleas just go, boom, take off.
Into your house.
Into your house, right? Yeah.
It does act as a repellent. It doesn't
What else
kill
acts as a repellent?
pennyroyal oil.
Also taking
Rosemary.
garlic into the diet every day.
Putting garlic?
Yeah.
Giving them
You know how you
that
smell
breath.
when you eat a lot of garlic?
Yeah. And they're going around going, that'd be thrilling around the house.
It
Well,
works.
what we recommend is really a total program. The diet, a really good diet to build up their health. I really don't like to see people use chemicals very much. Because first of all, it breeds a resistant flea, a very strong flea that becomes resistant in a few months, and you have to use something else. And also, it weakens the animal. These are very strong chemicals that are being used, and so they come down with some other problem, like a liver disorder or kidney problems, and then that's treated with further drugs.
Right.
So I work with a client towards building up the health of the animal, first of all, and then trying to use non-toxic means to control the fleas, which means sanitation, vacuuming, washing the bedding, using a flea comb, which is designed specifically to remove fleas from the coat.
I'd be curious to know, Susan, do you often treat the owners rather than the dog?
Well, this is something that's being discovered a lot in veterinary medicine these days as it's taking a more, as we call, holistic turn, is that animals are very much influenced by the people they're with.
You can
Just,
see very
you know,
nervous owners and
Yes.
very nervous pets.
Or fat ones and fat ones.
Yeah.
And, or angry ones and angry ones. And a lot of veterinarians are finding that, well, for instance, we know one that if he doesn't get results after 3 treatments, he automatically sends the owner to a psychotherapist, or to a hypnotist, and he gets results. And there's one very interesting story. We were talking with a lot of veterinarians about this lately, and almost everybody's noticed this. A story about a dog that had been to 7 different veterinarians for a dermatitis. It's a skin rash between its toes. No results. And the veterinarian could see right away that there was a problem between the person and the dog, that the person was putting expectations and pressures on the animal to be, she said, I think, like Rin Tin Tin. And
A movie star dog.
yeah, just to be a certain way, putting all this on the animal. And so she recommended that the person go to a therapist and work out these things of her own. She did, and the dog's problem cleared up.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's an excellent
No
book
other
called
treatment.
Natural Health for Dogs and Cats by the Pitcairns. And if you love your animal, read the book. We'll come back after this message.
So that was the first edition. Who knew it would go on and on? Rodale Press was a good publisher.
Do you think this is the one that took us the longest?
I think it did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took us 9 months to write that. I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, we kind of labored over
On a
that one.
typewriter.
Yeah, we had a whole outline. We did. And then every time we would do a new one, they'd want us to change at least 25% of it.
Oh.
So this is the second edition. I think it was pretty similar, actually.
Yeah, and that was published when?
I don't know. About 10 years later. And then this one here is the third edition. We made some more significant changes in it. I think we changed the kind of the formula that we used for the supplements and stuff on that one.
Yeah.
And then we thought we were all done. And then just after you'd actually retired, then they asked us to write another edition. And so we, by that time, had become vegans and had a lot of ideas about that. We did a lot of research on that topic and found that dogs especially could be vegan very successfully. So that's a big part of this book here, our 4th edition. And God, I hope it's the last one.
Seems like
I think it will be. And there were other ones along the way, a German one. This is I guess this is another German one.
Yeah, there are 2 German
Yeah, 2 German
editions,
ones.
yeah.
And then there was a Spanish one and an Italian one.
There's one in Turkish, apparently. I've
Really?
never seen
Wow.
it, yeah.
No,
Yeah.
really, huh? But then recently, on the vegan one, the Chinese decided they'd like to do it. And so this is a Chinese edition. And it's kind of funny how I did the illustrations on this one and how they put their titles like right on top of the illustration. Kind of an awkward layout, but that's okay. So we didn't get rich from that one. But we did well on all of it, and it was quite an opportunity. And it led to other things. It led to a certain amount of recognition, and then you did a lot of, you started teaching a course and so forth for veterinarians, and it's given us a lot of opportunities.
Got a chance to do a lot of good work.
Yeah. So, all right, congratulations, Dr. Pitcairn.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mrs. Dr. Pitcairn.
Mrs. Dr. Pitcairn, for really being the impetus behind it.
Yeah, well, I did a lot of the stuff, the analysis of the nutrition, and you did more of the things on the different diseases and stuff. And we worked together and edited each other, and it worked well. Yeah. Okay. Well, enjoy.